I know I've said some controversial things on this channel so far in the few videos that I've made so far comparing riders, but you know what, today I'm going to do something a bit more wholesome. I'm going to explain to you why I think that the 2017 cycling season was the best cycling season ever. This was peak cycling, it didn't get any better from here. This was a time prior to Jonas and Tadej, Van der Poel and Van Aert, Remco and Roglic. Well, Roglic was just about coming into it. But the 2017 season kicked off nice and normal with Richie Porte winning the Tour Down Under. We're in stable hands here. We know what's going on. We know the deal. Nothing is rocking the boat. We then had Michal Kwiatkowski, my favourite rider, in case you didn't know. He won Strade Bianchi and then he won Milano San Remo, which was, in my opinion, not just the greatest victory of the 2017 season, but the greatest victory of all time. If you haven't seen that, you are missing out, and I implore you to go and watch that after you've watched this video. Kwiatkowski won that against Sagan. It was pure brilliance. We moved into the classic season, which didn't have the normal big names of Van der Poel and Van Aert. No, this was a time where the king of the classics was Van Avermaet and Sagan and Quickstep. A purer time. A time where competition was rife. Van Avermaet won Roubaix. Gilbert won Flanders after Sagan, Van Avermaet and Nason got caught up on the Arde Quermont with that coat which was hanging over the railing. This was also where we had one of the greatest Amstel Gold victories. No, it wasn't quite Mathieu van der Poel 2019, but it was Gilbert versus Kwiatkowski to the line. And that was really cool to see, again, in the Belgian national champs jersey. Valverde was dominating the Ardennes because Valverde is one of the greatest, if not the greatest, Ardennes rider of all time. We then moved into the Giro d'Italia, which was won by Tom Dumoulin. This was his first and only Grand Tour victory, and because he is such a fan favourite rider, this victory definitely holds big space in a lot of fans' hearts, despite the fact that this was Poogate. This was where Dumoulin needed to have a shit at the side of a road. It was won on the TT on the final stage, taken from Nairo, and that was one of the greatest Grand Tour victories of all time. I think we can all agree that was a really good one. It was also the Giro d'Italia where Fernando Gaviria popped off. This was peak Gaviria. I think it was his Grand Tour debut. He won like 4 stages, including that mental one where he managed to bob and weave next to the barrier and beat Sam Bennett just on the line. Got the Chiclamina jersey, peak Gaviria, love that. Moving into the Tour de France, this was where Chris Froome won his 4th and final Tour de France victory before a rain cape took him out with a stiff crosswind during the 2018 Criterium de Dauphiné. Rip Froome. But 2017, Froome was still in flying form. This was the one where Aru took the yellow jersey for like a day before getting absolutely shat on by Team Sky, who actually knew what they were doing. Froome won by a pretty comfortable margin. It was also the tour where Marcel Kittel slapped 5 victories past people, but he crashed on like stage 19 or something, so he didn't win the green jersey. That went to Michael Matthew, who won 2 stages that year. Then we moved into the Vuelta, where Chris Froome doubled up. He got the Tour Vuelta double that year, and I think that was also the year where Trentin popped off a bit, so good year for Quickstep all round. And then we moved, finally, it capped off beautifully with Peter Sagan winning his 3rd World Championships jersey in a row, back to back to back, in Bergen, despite the fact that he had some sort of stomach flu thing going over there. He won ahead of Christoph and Matthews and Ben Swift and people like that, back when the names of this sport were completely different to the names that they are now. And the reason why I think the 2017 season was so great is because of that. This was really the final year, I think, where those big names, like the older guard of Van Avermaet, Sagan, Froome, Dumoulin, etc., were really at the peak of their game. And I think this was the last time that we saw them all really going hammer and tongs, really all competitive. And I just loved it. This was really the year where I think I became a big cycling fan. And therefore this year holds a lot of nostalgia for me. And you know what? I don't usually say this, but in the comment section, I want to hear what you think about the 2017 season. And you know what? If you disagree with me, then have a polite discussion about what you think is the best cycling season that you've seen so far. I'd be interested to hear what you have to say. And keep it PC in the comments, keep it sensible, and as always, don't rip each other's heads off.